Hi, everyone. Okay, I need to tell you about what just came to me in the shower. So I'm fresh out of the shower and I was thinking about how important our energy is, our energy within our body. And because yesterday, if I'm being completely honest with you, I had a hard energy day where I was feeling like, upon reflection of it now, I wasn't aware of this in the moment, but upon reflection of it, I'm like, my energy was so stuck. And because it was stuck, I was spiraling in different facets of life. And so I'm in the shower today, feeling good, had a good night's sleep, had a good breakfast, had my coffee. And of course, a shower is cleansing energetically. And I was thinking about how when I lived in Australia in 2016, 2017 was when I lived there. Some of you have heard this story. I've shared it on other people's podcasts, but I've never really talked about it here on my Aligned Purpose podcast. My plant medicine journey, my weekend-long ceremony with ayahuasca. So ayahuasca is a plant that comes from the Amazon. My ceremony was facilitated by two beautiful women shamans, and these shamans had been working with the medicine for over 25 years, so very well experienced. I felt very well taken care of, and I won't get into why I signed up for that ceremony, like what the initial thought was, but I want to tell you about what plant medicine gave me, the literal gift and knowledge it gave me. And sometimes when I tell this to people, I gotta gauge who's receptive to this story, because some people I can tell are like, oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing ever. And other people I can tell are like, you sound crazy. So I want to tell you about this realization I just had in the shower of how important the message was that was given to me during my ayahuasca experience about energy. So I did 2 nights back to back of drinking the medicine. For those of you that don't know, the Cole's notes on ayahuasca is that it activates DMT, which is already in our body, in our brain. And we have DMT molecules, but when you drink ayahuasca, it activates the DMT. And people have experiences where they feel like they've just had 10 years worth of therapy or healing or cleansing off of one drink of ayahuasca. So the ceremony I attended, and everybody else that I know that has ever sat with ayahuasca, first of all, refers to it as medicine and not a drug. And secondly, you are facilitated the medicine in the evening so that it is dark, so that you are not overstimulated or distracted by other things. And we had this beautiful house in the jungle of Mullumbimby in Australia. And there were about 12 of us there, and the 2 shamans, and, you bring kind of like sleeping bags, stuff, camping gear sort of thing, mats that you lay on. Everybody drinks the medicine when the sun goes down, and then you lay down and you go on your journey. And so I think by the time the sun set, when I had my medicine, it was around 8 o'clock at night, and the effects, the experience goes until about 4 in the morning. It's like an 8-hour journey. And yes, I chose to do this again the second night in the row. But the first night, I had this really beautiful, soft, nurturing opening experience where I remembered so many pieces of my childhood. I remembered my sister and I sharing a bed together. We didn't just share a room, we shared a bed together, and it was a queen size waterbed, and we had Little Mermaid bedding, and we would always, get in trouble at nighttime for staying up and giggling and laughing and playing around. And my mom would always come in and be like, girls, you have to go to sleep. And I had all of these memories about that, about me and Christine just like giggling and the whole experience. And up until that point, I hadn't remembered that memory. I totally forgot that we shared a room, we shared a bed, the things that we would talk about. I forgot about that. I mean, by the time I was 7, we moved to a new house and got our own rooms and didn't share a room anymore. It was really in my formative years of my brain. And so that was kind of like what kicked off the night, was these beautiful memories. But then all of a sudden, I was given, and when I say given, I mean it felt like it was literally downloaded into my psyche, into my brain, into my body, all of the information I would ever need to know about the chakra system, our energetic system within our body. Well, actually, it extends beyond your body as well. Up until this point, I had not ever studied the chakras. I was a school teacher. got to remember that. I just left teaching in June of 2016, and my ayahuasca weekend was like the first weekend of November 2016. So I had not dabbled in understanding or knowing anything about the energetic body. And then all of a sudden, it was like an encyclopedia of information was implanted into me. And the way I see ayahuasca is I see it like you're able to access your soul's timeline. So I was able to access parts of me in this life earlier on, like when my sister and I were kids. And then the second night, I saw so much of my future that is literally unfolding before my eyes right now, like meeting Jeff, having kids. Even though I said I didn't want kids, I did see myself having kids. I saw so much of my future. Then I also saw past lives, like before coming into this life. I saw other experiences. I saw my mom birthing me. Like, for some people, I know that this sounds so crazy and other people are really into it. And so this podcast is for the people who are really into it. So I see all these different experiences. But on the first night, I get all of this information given to me about the chakra system. And then when I looked forward to one of the shamans, to one of the women, she appeared to be fully translucent. Like I could see through her body and I could see her whole chakra system lit up. And it was like, as I saw her root chakra and then her sacral and as we go all the way up, I was like, oh my gosh, I understand this. I understand this. It was like all of a sudden I was the expert. It was like the universe wanted my soul to have this information. And to be honest, I've not done a whole lot with it. I've sat with this for, if it's 2025, almost 10 years. When we first started My Aligned Purpose and we ran our first sort of short mastermind, the 8-week mastermind while Kayla was off on mat leave with Evie, I was like, I could run an 8-week mastermind on the chakra system and go through each of the chakras and facilitate it. But I was so new into our business at the time and new into entrepreneurship that I don't know my confidence was fully there. It's hard to recall or remember, but I did lead an 8-week mastermind about the chakras. So I'm sitting with this information and I deliver it in a way where it's like, okay, so week 1, we're going to talk about the root chakra. What is it? Week 2, we're going to talk about the sacral chakra. Week 3, we're going to talk about the solar plexus. And now in the shower this morning, I had this download again as the water was cleansing over my body. And I'm like, I need to do something with this information. So the first thing I committed to doing was, okay, I'm going to get out of the shower. And because I have so much flexibility and freedom in my day, I was like, I'm going to go record a podcast on this. And then beyond this podcast, I think what I would like to know for those of you who listen is, would you like a podcast series on this? Would you like a mini course on this? Would you like me to talk more about this? I want to know, is anybody interested in how the chakras are applied to business? So that's what the podcast today is, like a mini lesson on how I see the chakras, our energetic centers, being correlated to business. I'm going to take you through a run through of how I see each of these playing out into your business. And you might be able to identify which one, if any or many, are blocked for you. Then you could start to, we could talk about it. Perhaps this is what people sign up for coaching for, is to work through the chakras in your business and get unblocked and get unstuck. But I see how each of the chakras relate to business. And then again, you could figure out where you're blocked, figure out how to unblock that. Just like I realized yesterday, like, oh, my energy is blocked in this specific area. And that's why I'm having these thoughts. That's why I'm having these feelings. I need to rebalance my energy. I don't need to do anything externally. I don't need to switch up my business. I don't need to change anything in my relationships. I don't need to wait for anything external to happen. This is this is an energy, I'm going to say issue, but it's not even an issue. This is an energy topic, an energy conversation. And when I had that realization this morning in the shower, I was able to take myself through my own exercises to be like, okay, the energy centers that I feel are the most blocked off of yesterday are my bottom 2, my root chakra and my sacral chakra. And I know that when those 2 are blocked, it's almost impossible for the rest of the chakras to be open, for your energy to be available and working for you and with you. So that leads me to today's conversation. if you've stuck around already 11 minutes into this, let's get into what are the energy centers of the body? How do they apply to your business? Can you relate to feeling like any of these might feel stuck for you? How can you get them unstuck? And how can you be an open channel to being so magnetic to your business, to money, to clients, to opportunities, to all of the people, places, experiences, and things that you desire? So, the very first chakra that we have in our body. And I also just want to preface this with saying, if you are like really far on the scientific side of things and not really into the spiritual side of things, this has all been studied scientifically, medically as well. The chakra system in the scientific realm is often referred to as our endocrine system. And we can see how each of the glands are in the area where the energy centers are. And if you are more in tune with the spiritual side of things, you will understand how the energy is representative of the emotions, the wellness, the illness, and all of the things that come with that particular gland or part of the body. So the very first chakra that is in our body is the root chakra. You know, if you're imagining the line of the energy centers, the root chakra is represented by the color red. And these are all like described as spinning balls. So they're circular in their shape and their energetic shape, except for the solar plexus, the third one, which is represented more by like a diamond shape. So we've got the energy center root chakra, and this is connected to your sense of survival, your sense of belonging, your sense of security, your sense of home, your sense of tribe. And when this chakra is off balance for whatever reason, it could be a thought or a feeling you're having, or, you know, maybe you've uprooted yourself, literally root chakra, you've uprooted yourself and you've moved to a new town or a new city, or switched a job, or your family all went somewhere, and you're feeling this instability in your sense of home, in your sense of belonging. That one singular root chakra is the most dense in energy. It's the slowest moving, and it is so closely associated to money. And when it is out of balance, when the energy is not flowing fluidly, easily, the thing that a lot of people will experience or say they're experiencing is fear around money. Money fear, money scarcity. Am I going to have a home? Am I going to have a job? Am I going to be able to provide? Will there be enough? And again, rather than thinking about what you can do externally to go out and change those circumstances, the power is actually within you of how can you stabilize the sense of enoughness, of security, of well-being, of you are taken care of, you are okay, and balancing that energetic center. Now, so this is like literally grade 4 Cole's notes. I could go so much deeper into all of these energetic centers. Again, all given to me through plant medicine. And of course, I've verified over the years. I've taken courses and read books and studied podcasts. And I'm like, yes, everything I was taught is on the same vein of spiritual teachers like Dr. Carolyn Miss. And sometimes I feel like, wow, I got given a little bit more. So just stay with me here. So we move from the root chakra up into your sacral chakra. And your sacral chakra is represented by the color orange. This is our sense of creativity, but it's also our sense of sexuality. Sexuality, it's the womb space. So for, everyone out there who's got a womb in their body, for some reason, you may have been born a man without a womb, or you may have had yours removed from you, but it is the womb space within the body. If you don't have an actual womb within your body, it is still the birthing place of ideas. And whether you are somebody who is going to birth a human into this world, or you're going to birth an idea, the idea comes from creativity. And it is often said that if somebody is blocked sexually, then they are also going to be blocked creatively. And if somebody is blocked creatively, they are going to be blocked sexually. These two they're kind of like one in the same. This orange, dense ball of energy that, again, sits within our body, just below the navel, when it is out of balance, we can feel like we're not being true to ourselves. We can feel like we're lacking creativity. We can feel like we are not on the path. We can feel like we are misunderstood. And it is very rare that that energetic center will be open and available for all the creativity that is here for you in this lifetime if the first chakra is blocked. So if you are walking around and you're fearing money and fearing instability and fearing this sense of not being rooted, it's very rare that you're going to experience that, but then be like, I'm so creative and I'm able to express myself sexually and sensually in the most expressive way. We have to actually start by unblocking the first blocked chakra to move up the energetic channel to unblock the rest. So then we move up to mid stomach, to our just below our rib cage. And this is where we have our solar plexus, which I mentioned earlier is represented by the shape of a diamond. The color associated to the solar plexus is yellow, and this is our sense of confidence. This is our willpower, our drive, our force that moves us forward. When this is out of balance, you may feel like you don't have the confidence. You may feel like your drive and ambition is not there. Again, not surprising if the chakra below it is blocked. So it's kind of hard to feel like we have a sense of purpose, kind of hard to feel confident in who we are and what we're doing if we are blocked creatively, if we are blocked sexually and sensually. So again, we got to go back to the root. Is the root chakra spinning? Is it open? Do we feel safe? Do we feel like money is available to us? Do we feel like we're creating a sense of home and that we are grounded? So you do grounding practices to balance the root chakra. Then we move up. What are you doing to be able to tap into your creativity, to feel like you are truly able to express yourself and allow new ideas to move through you? And are you open sexually? You know, oftentimes people who cover up or deny their sexual expression, then they often feel just blocked in life in general because the two are so associated. Then we move up into the solar plexus, your confidence, your will, your drive, your ambition. Okay, so these three chakras now, or what we call the lower chakras. They are the most dense. They are often the ones that are commonly blocked, and they are the ones that work together most commonly in a system. So if you're feeling like one of those three is blocked, it's often more powerful to unblock all three and make sure they are working together as a unit, as a united system. Then we get to the heart chakra, which is your heart. It's representative of, you love this. Is your heart in it? Is this truly what you want? This sometimes people will say is represented by like a sapphire green color or a light pink color. And the heart is the connection point of our top three chakras and our bottom three chakras. It is like the invisible string or invisible thread of, you've got these bottom three open. Now you put your heart into it and you're starting to cruise, baby. The top three are so much easier to access when the bottom three are taken care of. So again, if our heart is out of balance, if we feel like we're stuck in a relationship, if we feel like we don't love our work, if we feel like heartbroken and we're living in grief 24/7, it will be harder to now unlock the top three. So not only unlock the top three, but connect them to the bottom three. Now we move into our fifth chakra, which is your throat chakra. This is represented by a deep color blue. Sometimes people say blue, purple, a deep kind of royal blue color. And what I find so fascinating about the throat chakra is it is often said it is the sister to your sacral chakra. So we go back to your creativity. You can do the work to open up yourself creatively, and then you move forward with confidence, and then you put your heart into it, and you're like, yes, I love this. And then you get to your throat chakra. And if you can't verbally express and speak your truth and say how you really feel and what you really want, all of a sudden the blockage in your throat stifles the creativity block again, or stifles the sexual expression block. So say you know that this is who you're attracted to and how you want to sexually express yourself in the world, and you feel like, yeah, like I'm accessing this, I know this is true about me, and you feel confident in moving forward with that, and you're like, my heart's in this is who I am. And then you get to your throat, but you feel like you can't tell people this is who you are, or you dim your voice or you don't speak up when you know that you should have, when we block ourselves from our verbal expression, from speaking our truth and saying what's really on our heart and in our mind, then all of a sudden we go back down to blocking this chakra again. So these two are like sister chakras. You want to make sure that you are opening yourself up creatively and that you are able to express that out into the world with pure conviction, pure confidence, knowing that your voice matters, knowing that it is really important that you take a stand for your word and what you mean. When we move from the chote, we move up into the third eye. This is the most common of the chakra systems, of the energetic centers rather. And this is your point of intuition. This is the point of all knowing. This is what people call the third eye. This is your intuition, which we all have. Everybody has intuition. It's not like some people are born with intuition and some people aren't. We all have it. It's a matter of, is yours open so that you can access it? I know that sometimes I feel so open in my intuition, like in this moment right now, I was like, I got to get out of the shower. I've got to record this podcast. Intuitively, I know that this is the message that needs to come through me right now. And other times, like yesterday, when I was going to the zoo, if you're new here, that's mine and Kayla's term for feeling like going off the deep end, not feeling mentally too well. Yesterday, I was going to the zoo. I was not feeling good. I was like, I got onto the wrong side of the internet where I saw all this fear-based information about becoming a mom. And it was like, you're never going to love your body again and you're going to hate your husband and you're never going to want to leave your house. And you're going to be depressed and you're going to have anxiety and having a child's going to take away from all the good things in your life. And it actually stemmed from, I saw a video, maybe it was a Facebook reel. This is just a side tangent, where a woman who was in a position like me, where she was unsure if she wanted kids for a long time, which is how I felt until I was about 35. And she said, and I'm kind of thinking maybe I do want kids now. She said in the comments, for those of you who were like me, where you were unsure if you wanted kids or not those of you who were like, you knew you wanted to be a mom, but for those of you who were like riding the fence of like, is this what I want? Is this not what I want? Tell me, do you regret it or are you happy that you had kids? And the comments were devastating. Oh, they were not good. It was like, I regret this so much. And again, for all of the reasons that I just listed, you know, I'm depressed. My husband and I left one another. I don't ever see my friends. I lost my purpose, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh my God, this is not good. So yesterday I was mentally at the zoo and my intuition was not on. Kayla and I were trying to plan out stuff for the book and I just kept crying. I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, oh my gosh. And, you know, also just a sign of pregnancy, but I really could not tap into a vision. And that's what I said to her. I was like, as somebody who identifies as a visionary, this is really hard for me right now to feel like I can't see the vision. And it was just in that moment yesterday. Today, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk the book. And I'm like, the ideas are fucking flying. My intuition is on. I just spent the morning, like it's 10:30 right now. I just spent the morning doing the work to recalibrate my energy, to make sure I am on, I am lit up, I am charged, I am open, I am expressive, my heart's in this, I feel confident with it, I'm rooted, I'm grounded, I'm stable, I'm speaking my truth, and my intuition is on. It doesn't have to be a slow process. You can decide that if you are feeling like any of these centers I just described are off for you or out of balance or off kilter or whatever, however you want to describe it, it doesn't have to be a long, whatever that means to you, time before you decide to turn them back on, before you decide to say, you know what, I'm responsible for my energy and nobody else is. So today, intuition is on. I think you all know, those of you listening to this, if your intuition is on or if it's not. If you feel like you can access your intuition, if you feel like the good ideas are flowing, you close your eyes and you can tap into the vision. That's what it is. It's like we've got our eyeballs, which see out externally, but then we've got our third eye, our internal vision, which is like we close our eyes and this is where we see the 6-month vision, the year vision, the 5-year vision. It's where we see the people, places, experiences, and things that we desire that are maybe not in our timeline yet, but we know they're available to us because when we close our eyes, they're there in our intuition. This particular chakra is so powerful. It is so powerful when we talk about business. So again, I'm just kind of going through these Cole's notes so fast, but I'm going to go through them again once more and show you how you can connect them to your business. This is arguably, I think, one of the most powerful ones. When this is on and it is spinning, it's kind of like a violet sort of iridescent color. We move to the top chakra. And this top chakra is known as your crown chakra. And this is where you have your connection to what you believe is higher than your physical 3D self. For a lot of people, it's source, it's creator, it's your highest, higher self. It is connection to something that has access to global universal consciousness that you in your 3D body can't access on your own without connection to this. So this is represented by like a white angelic light. When we are so lit up and so open, this final chakra is on. Right? This will not be on if any of these are off. So you will feel like if this is not on, if your connection to source, God, creator, highest self is not on, you will feel like you are responsible, like you have to know the how, like you have to know the answers when you don't. You don't have to know the answers. You get to know the vision you want. You get to know how you would like to express yourself. You get to know where your heart lies. You get to know all these things, but you don't have to know the how, the unfolding, because your connection to something bigger than you is going to help you co-create it. But if this is not on, you are going to feel like you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you don't have to. It's all energy. This is all an energetic game. You know, I was at a birthday party the other day and somebody said to me, she said, "You're so good at manifesting and just trusting in the process." And I said, "Thank you. Like, I thank you for seeing me that way. And I really do feel that way. And I take that compliment and I receive it. And I believe that a lot of my trusting," and I said this to her, my trusting and my understanding of I am not responsible for the how, for the when, came from my ayahuasca experience of understanding the energy. When I really was given this information, which I'm now relaying to all of you, you don't have to go sit with ayahuasca. When I was given this information that everything is energy, chill out a little bit and know that my responsibility is not to change things externally. It is to dial and balance my energy internally. That is one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given, because I can so quickly reel myself out of a negative thought pattern, out of a feeling off balance, out of worrying, out of doubt. I'm not somebody who is anxious. I'm not somebody who experiences depressive episodes. I'm not somebody who sits in guilt too long. I experience guilt. I experience grief. I experience sadness, but I am so tapped into those feelings are all energy, and I can choose if I want to stay in that energy or feel a different way. And that all comes from within. Like, my goodness, I'm so grateful for this gift. So now let's just do a final run through quickly of how you would connect the energetic centers to your business. So you have a business idea. You've got a product you want to launch. You've got an offer you want to launch, or a service you want to deliver, whatever it is, a restaurant you want to open. Here are the things that you can ask yourself that are related to each of the chakra systems and your business. So when I think about my aligned purpose, which again, if you've never heard me talk about, I believe my aligned purpose, which is the name that I came up with through a visualization. When people ask, what do you mean by alignment and purpose? I mean alignment of the 7 chakras. And do I feel on purpose with my work, with my life, based off of the alignment of the chakras? It's crazy now when I'm saying this and I'm sitting down, I'm like, okay, this gift was given to me for a reason, and I really need to tap into it more. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move through the alignment of the 7 chakras and see if the work that you're doing feels on purpose to you. If I take my aligned purpose as a company, as a whole, the podcast, the Aligned CEO Method, cash flow, the speaking, the book, everything we do, and I encompass it into this company, this brand, my aligned purpose, let's go through. Does my aligned purpose allow me to feel rooted, stable, a sense of belonging, connectedness? Yes. It does not make me feel in scarcity or lack or not enoughness. It doesn't make me feel like my tribe is leaving me. It doesn't make me feel like unrooted, unstable. Okay, good. Got it. Now let's go to, do I feel like I can fully be creative and express myself in my aligned purpose? Absolutely. Everything that I want to put into this business, I do. And I'm so grateful for Kayla for being open to, I mean, I guess we wouldn't work together if it wasn't this way, but she is so open to my creative expression of, here's what I want to talk about on the podcast today, or here's what I want to do this free workshop on, or here's how I see She Leads unfolding. Like, the creativity, I feel like for me, gets to flow through this business. I don't feel like my creativity is blocked in my aligned purpose. Okay, excellent. I feel like when a new idea comes to me, we get to decide if it is worth birthing from this creative space into the business. And I never feel like that's stifled. Then we move up to, am I confident in this business? Like, does this business allow me to feel confident? Am I confident in what we're creating and putting out into the world? Do I feel like I get to move forward with determination and ambition? That's actually one of my checkpoints of I'm not going to deliver something if I don't feel confident in it. I see people out there be like, I got this training and that training and this training and that training. And I took a weekend workshop, and then they put all their credentials down and they're like, see, I've got it all covered. That's not me. That is not me. I'm not going to teach you something if I do not feel confident in it. I'm not going to create a podcast episode if I don't feel confident in it. I also don't allow I don't feel confident to block me from doing things. I work on building my confidence muscle, AKA opening up this energetic center. So, do I feel confident in what we do in my aligned purpose? Absolutely. Is my heart into it? Yep, no brainer. That is not even a question. My heart is all in on this business. Do I feel like I get to express myself? Yes, this podcast is one of the greatest gifts for my expression. I said from the beginning, I didn't even have a business when I started this. Kayla and I did not have a business. I was not offering coaching or masterminding. I just started this podcast because I had this deep desire to express the things I wanted to talk about through my voice. I didn't decide to blog because that's not how I want to express myself. I want to express myself with my words, with what I have to say, with storytelling, just like this. So do I feel like I get to speak my truth, say what I really feel, and use my vocal expression? Yeah. Intuition. Do I follow my intuition? And does this business allow me to follow my intuition? Yes. I know that when I get out for a walk in the woods, a hike in the woods, a solo walk, no headphones, nobody with me, just the dog, that is when my intuition is tapped in, tuned in, turned on. And then I can be like, okay, intuitively, what is the next best decision? Yes, I have coaches and mentors, and I have them for like second set of eyes to connect me with other people, networking, all of that. But at the end of the day, nobody is going to steer me in a different direction than my intuition. Your intuition is your point of all knowing. Do I listen to my intuition in this business, or do I ignore it? I listen to it. And then from there, do I get to tap into, I call it universe and higher consciousness? Do I feel like I can lean on the universe to support me in this business? Do I feel like I truly trust something bigger than me in this business? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't need to know exactly what this business will look like in 5 years, in 10 years. I don't need to know that. All I need to know is, what do I want? Why do I want it? The how, the timeline, I trust with my connection to the universe with larger consciousness will all unfold in divine timing the way it's meant to. So there I can just take a quick scan through my body and be like, okay, yeah, I'm on the right track with this business. It doesn't feel like this business is, my heart's not in it. It doesn't feel like I lack confidence in what I'm doing. This business doesn't make me feel a sense of instability. And also, again, that would all be external. If I wanted to feel a sense of stability within my business, I could change things in the business externally, but I also could say, okay, what can I do as a human being, regardless of this business that I'm in or not, to create a deeper sense of groundedness, of stability? Okay, this has been about now almost a 40-minute episode. Again, I could talk about my experience at ayahuasca at length. I could go on and on and on. I just give you the snippet. I could talk about the chakra system on and on and on. I could talk about how we are in alignment with our purpose and if you're in alignment with your purpose. But I want to know, are you curious? Do you want to know more? Do you want more podcast episodes on this? Do you want me to create a resource on it? Would you take a mini course on it? I'm going to just float this out there and trust, as I do, that if you want more, you'll let me know. All right. I trust that you enjoyed this episode. Maybe you learned something new. And if you did, you can always share with a friend, send it to them in the DMs, leave a rating and review, and we'll be back later this week with Biz Besties.